The question with which we concern ourselves today is, how do you do something right? I'll make a pause here because there is no such thing as an absolute right or a wrong. Is there just different ways of experiencing the world? And then this expression one hears a lot in America, this is inappropriate, but then they don't define inappropriate to what? I mean, frying sausages while naked could be inappropriate, but swimming whilst naked, where's the problem? You see, I'm going to take this as an example actually. It's right to be naked whilst taking a shower, but it's not right to be naked on your front lawn. Why? Think about this a minute, because it's very, very important to you. You see, believing it being wrong to walk down the street naked on a lovely sunny day, you are living somebody else's beliefs. Such a belief could never ever be your own. If it were your own, then for you, you would feel good. If good is a feeling, it's not, it's a judgment. You would feel comfortable, even on a hot day, wearing clothes. However, it's much, much more likely that if you let this good and wrong go, and just be with who and what you are, then you would feel it to be comfortable and honest, and that's even more important, honest, true to yourself, to do what you feel is right. Now here we're actually beginning to go into the area of moral and ethic. And these two terms have been very, very deliberately confused so that most people have the impression that they're pretty well two words for the same thing. So we have nonsensical expressions like ethical, moral, or a moral, ethical judgment. You know, the moral and ethics are absolute opposites. Moral is about pleasing somebody else at your cost. So moral says you cannot walk naked down the street. Well, in some streets you can, but you know, there aren't very many of them yet. Ethics says, what would be the effect of my walking down the street naked? Am I going to damage myself by doing that? Well, not unless you're extremely sensitive to sun. Am I actually going to harm anyone else by doing that? No, you're not. You are not responsible for their judgments, and their judgments are all stem from moral. And moral is living your life according to the strictures, the wishes, the orders of somebody else. Most commonly, moral is set up to create a dictatorship. Usually a religious dictatorship. And this is where we get most of our, shall we say, unenforced rules, when they don't need to be enforced because everybody believes that these are correct. But they're not. They're there in order to persuade you that you are guilty, you are inferior, and this person who has set themselves up on a pedestal is the one who imparts to you God's will. That's what moral is about. It's about establishing and maintaining a dictatorship. And moral is always carried out at your cost. You are persuaded to believe something in which there is no grain of truth whatsoever. So the Catholic Church tells you it is immoral to use contraceptives. Why? Well, the more poor people there are, the more members the Catholic Church has, because the Catholic Church appeals to poverty because it creates poverty. Very clear on this. The Catholic Church creates poverty as a tool to power. You follow their moral teachings and you will find yourself becoming poorer and poorer. Not necessarily in material things straight away, although this often happens, but poorer in spirit, poorer in knowledge, poorer in freedom, poorer in your right to decide for yourself. This is moral. In Islam, you're told it is moral to kill anyone who refuses to convert to Islam. Who tells you this? Allah? And if it is God's will, if it is Allah's will, is he not capable of doing it for himself? With a great plague, or an earthquake, or a volcano, or anything of that sort. Why must it be that you must go and kill somebody else because your boss, the one who dictates morals to you, says that's what you must do to please Allah? Who is the actual beneficiary here? Well, it's the mullah and the ayatollah who have more power. That's what it's about. It's about a human megalomania. It's got nothing to do with divine purpose at all. We went through this in Europe a couple of 100 years ago. We largely broke up the power of the church. It's still there, but it is daily, hourly losing in power. Because people have seen that it has very little, if anything at all, to do with divine will, but a very great deal to do with the amassing of power and wealth by a priesthood. So, no illusions. If Allah doesn't want non-Islams to live on this planet, he will take care of it himself. And there is no justification whatsoever for you to murder others to make your priests more powerful. And you will not go to heaven if you're caught and stopped in an act of murder. That is moral. It is not ethics. Ethics is freedom. Ethics is about looking at what you plan to do and look at what will be the effects of my action. And if this action would be injurious to some other person, then don't do it. It's not ethical. If, however, your action, your intended action, is either neutral to everyone else or brings benefit to everyone else, then to do it would be ethical. There are very few people who actually want to be murdered, and almost none who want to be murdered for the belief of your priests. That's what it's about. It's about killing people so that your priest becomes more powerful. It's about his personal megalomania. There's nothing holy or clean or right about it. It's a very dirty game that you've got caught up in. And this is just one example of it. We have examples all over the world in all strata of society. Doing right is paying taxes. Who is the beneficiary? Well, the principal beneficiary of your taxes is the banking cartel. And what do they do for it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. All that they've done is invented a private currency, a private money, their personal fiat money, call it what you will, call it the dollar, call it the euro, whatever. It's their tool for stealing your wealth. A tax collector, although he may well not know it, is an instrument, an employee of the banking cartel to extract your wealth and give it to the bankers. There's nothing moral about paying taxes, it's just theft. If you want to look at, okay, here we have a country, this country needs infrastructure, it needs all sorts of things. How do we finance it? Well, those who have gone to the trouble of working it out say that the USA, for example, if all wastage, all payment to thieves were stopped, the USA would need approximately 9.5% of the tax income which it presently has, and it would have no debts. Think about that. In Germany it's 7.5%, or 7.6 to be exact. Think about that. You have an obligation to yourself to find out what is the reality and to live that reality that is junk moral, junk other people's beliefs, and find out for yourself what is true. It's not difficult. It just needs a little diligence, that's all. But do make it very, very clear the difference between moral and ethic. Moral is living according to someone else's rules, who has set up these rules to use and abuse you. Ethics is using your power, your right to decide for yourself. The last thing that they want, which is why they try to confuse moral and ethics, say they're the same thing. They're not, they're exact opposites. Moral, living for somebody else. Ethic, being alive. Okay, think about that for the next few days, and then we go on to the next topic. Namaste.